Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pharmaceutical Soccer. I am extremely happy to be here. I have to assume my friends Clay Trainum and Valair Shabilla are also extremely happy to be here. I have a feeling we're all going to be extremely positive today. Well, I'm hoping so. We're all positive, right?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Did something
Valair?
happen? Like, we got knocked out of the Leagues Cup. I mean, we should be negative about that, right?
Are we even going to? We don't even have that on the schedule, do we? To actually talk about?
I'm joking.
No, I don't even actually think we have it on the rundown to talk about the Leagues Cup getting knocked out, which is perfectly fine, which is great. Honestly, to me, that just adds to the positivity. Valair, are you happy?
Yeah. I don't understand this line of why are you questioning my happiness? I don't understand. Like, what do you want me to tell the people what I experienced this past weekend?
I do want that. I'm just, sometimes I need to make sure there's a line of you being a journalist suit and still liking this team where I want to make sure you haven't fully crossed it.
You haven't asked him about his weekend yet. You're just starting off talking
you're
about
just
being
like
happy
questioning me, like interrogating me about happiness and how I'm feeling. And, it just seems a lot of pressure because, to be honest with you, while Nashville SC enjoyed a great weekend, I was a little bit in pain, a lot of bit in pain. I have I had an eye infection. I don't know, it's still going on, and I've never had one of those before, and I really had to experience a very traumatic event with my eye. But it's good. I think we're recovering, but I have to wear these Tony Stark glasses. If you're a Kappa member, you get to watch these. So my weekend was a hit or miss. Obviously, Arsenal won as well, so I'm very happy with that. I will say the Miami game with Nashville SC, obviously, just going back to that really quickly. I mean, it was really fun to be there. The vibes around Geodis Park were good. Just everything felt like a big event and a big deal, which is such an obvious contrast from Leagues Cup, especially the game I went to, which was the last game where everything kind of was already decided more or less. So it was really cool to see Geodis Park up again for a big game, and obviously Nashville getting the result really helped with that. But just overall, just the preparation, the sold out crowd, everything like that really played into it. So it was really cool.
Well, Larry, I'm really sorry about your eyes, man. I did not mean to fully come off. You're right. I apologize for my behavior in the beginning. I don't know.
Well,
in a positive space.
It seems fitting, right? So Valair's having problems with vision. I'm having problems with speaking because I've got my own issues going on, which is fine. And Steven, you always have problems with listening. So really, we've got everything covered here on Pharma Soccer.
I was going to say we should start our own ENT clinic, but I think our noses, there's no eyes there. But Clay, how was your weekend? How are you feeling, buddy?
It's the road to recovery is often not linear. But I'm doing all right. But it was a good weekend. I had a good weekend, a good time. It was an interesting experience at Geodis, and we're going to talk about it a lot more. The contrast of Wednesday to Saturday is an interesting one. And I have complicated thoughts on the sort of punting on the Leagues Cup as a team that has only ever won one trophy. But I do think that it sets up not necessarily vindication, but it certainly sets up that there was a lot of pressure for Nashville to perform on Saturday, I think, after deciding to approach Leagues Cup that way. And so seeing the team perform in that way really makes everyone feel a lot better, because there were a lot of teams that approached Leagues Cup in a similar way to Nashville and then came into Saturday and then also didn't play well. And so I do think that's a big takeaway for me from watching this Nashville team kind of return to form and look like the Nashville team that we saw for the bulk of the season. I think that is the big part of it. And we'll take our biggest takeaways from Miami in a second, but I don't want to get to that yet because, Steven, how was your weekend, buddy?
Oh, thank you so much for asking. I appreciate it. It's nice. The pressure of carrying the show on my back because both Valair and Clay are not feeling terrific. I'm ready for this moment, just like Nashville was ready for this moment against Miami. I am ready for it, and I am here. My weekend was actually really good. Funny story about going watching the match. I actually went to a bar in DC to watch the match on Saturday, and it was really funny because I'm not going to name the bar's name, but they had a picture of like what they were showing. They always show what soccer matches they were showing, and they had Inter Miami versus Nashville as one. I'm like, that is super cool. I will absolutely go to this bar because I would love to be able to watch it. I go in and I'm just like, hey, like, if you could seat me wherever you have the Nashville Miami match on, that'd be great. The response from this man was, oh, we just do that for show. We don't know if we actually are going to put it on or not. I'm like, what are you talking about? I am literally here for this. He's just like, okay, we'll figure it out. They had the DirecTV MLS package, so they were able to put it on for me. But do not put something on as an advertisement if you are not going to have it there for me.
Are you telling me that people in the District of Columbia lie?
Yeah, crazy. I know, right? But there was also a second part to this story that's super cool, is that I then get sat down. Somebody else that is also a Nashville fan is there to watch the match. So shout out to Devin. I didn't even bring up about Pharma Soccer or anything to you. If you listen to this show, that's awesome. And that was me, if you do listen to the show. But originally from Miami, but is a Nashville fan. And moved here, was looking for a spot to watch the match. And yeah, it was super funny to have somebody else in DC there. So yeah, it was fun to be able to watch the match at the bar, be able to have a few drinks, celebrate in time. Man, just even witnessing from just the TV side of things, just seeing the place, I was so jealous. I had so much FOMO from not being able to be there. Where does this top in experiences for you as a Nashville fan? Because this has to be up there, is one of the better experiences that most Nashville fans have probably been a part of.
So there's two aspects to it, right? Like, the main thing is, obviously, Nashville, Miami, it's been a thing. It's been a thing since 2020. And it was Nashville, for the most part, dominating until Messi got there. And then Nashville's been a pretty decent foil in that all the matches have been good for the most part, save a few. And Miami usually wins. Is kind of the way it worked out. And then this season, Nashville got one over on Miami in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. But like, the scoreless draw at Geodis, then it was you get it over in Miami. It's on TV. So you don't quite get the moment, right? And then it's not fun necessarily. So the difference in this is that you actually get the actual catharsis of like getting the win in style, getting the win in dominating fashion over. It's not a full strength Miami team, but it's not a full strength Nashville team either. It's pretty close on both ends, but it's so it is as close to full strength as both teams can be right now. And it's that. And sort of the cherry on top of it is that on top of that, you get not a full Miami meltdown, but you get that little bit of a Miami meltdown as a part of it, which shows that not only were they upset about losing, but they were very frustrated by how much they were embarrassed in that performance. And so you just get the full catharsis of the performance at home, full stadium. You have the last 2 weeks of Nashville not playing well that adds into it. And so you just get this full moment of being able to celebrate that you haven't really had at this point for months. And that makes it kind of the only thing that you could really compare it to is that Leagues Cup run, like the Monterrey game, like the Club America game where you get that moment in the stadium. And so it really is one of the best moments that we've ever seen at Geodis Park.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think for me as well, if you strip away the Miami aspect of things, you just forget that it's Miami, forget it's all of that. And you just look at Nashville being the number one team in the Supporters Shield race, playing the second team that's closest to them with 2 points in between. If Miami wins this, or if this second team wins this, it changes things dramatically for Nashville. Nashville are playing at home, sold out crowd. People have come in. People are committed. People are watching on TV. Again, if you strip away the Miami aspect of it, this is a huge deal on its own. Simply because Nashville asserted themselves after playing, like you mentioned, Clay, not so well in MLS at least, since coming back from the World Cup. Nashville said, no, we are number one. We're going to be able to do this. And it's a determination that clearly showed the quality of the team, showed the quality of the players, the quality of the coaching staff, and the quality of the project as a whole of what this BJ Callaghan era looks like, because they are the number one team. They reinforced their squad in the summer with signings. So that's a very important thing. They didn't just sit on their laurels and say, we're leading the Supporters Shield. It is what it is. No, they went and got a couple more players. One of those players balls out, which I know we're going to get into that in the second segment. And they're able to beat the number two team and now expand that gap to 5 points, which is a very, very big gap at this point of the season. So even away from the Miami thing, this is a great accomplishment, and to do that at home in front of your fans. But then you add the Miami factor to it, and that's all the stuff that Clay was talking about in terms of like the rivalry between Miami and Nashville. But then you think about it from a global standpoint, and this is not an exaggeration. There is a global eye, and I think, Clay, you tweeted something about it earlier this week. There's a global eye on these games that just generally isn't on regular MLS games. There is a global eye when Miami are playing. So Nashville being able to showcase that, again, on its own, just even without the Miami factor, is great. But then you add the Miami factor to it, and it's like a really step up in terms of attention, in terms of people knowing what Nashville are cooking, and even people here in the U.S. or people even involved in MLS who maybe didn't believe in Nashville's ability. I think this is a very good sign to show, oh, are you a Portland fan who kind of keeps up with MLS every now and again? Now you know Nashville is the team to fear, even though you might have seen them on the table, but it's different now that you saw them beat these guys.
Well, and it's not just that. And this is what, I mean, anybody that would listen to me after the game, this is what I was talking about. Like a lot of, and I said this on Twitter too, I understand the fatigue that regular week in, week out MLS fans have with the Messi show. Like everything that comes along with it, the global eye, all this stuff. I do get it. Trust me, we get tired of it too. Like we've talked about it. Like it is, we were here before he was here. You know, it was one of those things. But every game like this is an opportunity. And not just on the global stage, but on the local stage. And fortunately for Nashville, Nashville's had a lot of these opportunities against Miami. So Nashville's probably one of the more affordable Messi tickets that you can get as an away fan, like away tickets that you can get to see Messi like around the country because he's just played a lot around here. And a lot of these people that show up at these Nashville games wearing these Messi jerseys all live around here. And they may not watch MLS. They may just be a Messi fan who wanted to buy, you know, one of the best-selling jerseys in the world. And these Nashville-Miami games have been tense, tactical, boring, you know, both teams get 7 or 8 shots. No team's really taken a huge amount of chances because they've been good teams and they've been, you know, kind of aware of the what the other team can do. And those fans showed up at Geodis Park on Saturday and saw that their local team, the team that they maybe they're not keeping up with or don't know a whole lot about other than that they're in MLS and that they're playing against Messi. They saw that team, the team that they could see every week if they want to, dominate. And they saw a whole bunch of people who get to watch that team dominate every week and the atmosphere that comes along with that. And we've heard a lot of stories. I've heard a lot of stories personally told to me, but I've also heard stories of people telling other people like they came to see Messi, but now they're coming back because they want to see more of this thing that other people are really excited about because they didn't realize that it was in their backyard. And that goes back to the opportunity that like the World Cup presented to MLS. Like these are these people that are coming out because they've now watched the World Cup and they want to see these opportunities. That's what this is all about. Like Messi coming to MLS, that's what this is actually about. It's not really about people coming to see Messi. It's about people showing up to see the game and then maybe coming back out. So the fact that all these people showed up, the pink jerseys, all this stuff, whatever, we're tired of it. Everyone's tired of it. But these people got to see their local team do something to this guy they've heard of that no other team's really doing, in this league. And by the way, that team is now 5 points clear in the Supporters Shield and the best team in the league right now.
But let it be known, though, if you did wear pink on Saturday and you do listen to this show, you are dead to me. You are dead to me. You're absolutely dead to me. Unless you switch over to wearing gold like the next match, you're dead to me. It is what it is. Also, if you let your kids wear pink as well, also
kids
dead to
me. Kids, Steve.
What about... Okay,
you gotta raise them right.
Okay. Couple of questions for you. First of all, why do you think anybody who wore pink is listening to this show? Because I feel like that doesn't happen.
Exactly what Clay was talking about for the past two. Like, they could just be Messi fans and they just kind of show up because, Nashville's a local team, but they want to see Nashville.
Question number
Dead
two.
to me.
Question number two. We're I got what I needed from that. Question number two. Okay, so you have this sort of thing about pink shirts. How do you feel about Argentina Messi jerseys? Where are you on those?
Also dead to me. Sorry, I apologize.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely dead to me. Barcelona Messi, no, dead to me. I'm sorry. Also dead to me.
PSG?
Ooh.
There's not many. I mean, but some people will wear it.
That's kind of ironic, so I'm kind of here for it, actually. That one's fine.
Okay.
That one's fine. And it matches the navy blue that Nashville has. So, look, here are the limits, okay? We'll set these in stone. But
listen, thank you, Stephen, for that. I will say, for whoever watched Messi and is listening to the show and now is going to go to the next game at home, which is Columbus, you get to see Chase Adams play, and you should do that.
Look, I think it's going to be easy, especially to be like, as a Nashville fan, you're going to look at this as top of the Supporters Shield, all that type of stuff, and it's great to be a part of. But it's almost, to me, this is so reminiscent of Nashville against Austin during the MVP race and the implications of what. Thank you, Clay. I was getting the word right.
You got there. You landed the plane.
Of what that match meant just from a season perspective. That Austin-Nashville match was the Driussi versus Hany Mukhtar of it all. Who is going to win MVP?
And you almost got in a fight in the supporters section. What a day.
That also did happen. I did not, thank you. I was just stopping fights, but I need to, yes. But it was one of those matches where we're sitting there just in anticipation. This one is on the calendar, right? Of like, what Nashville are we going to get? And it solidified the way that we all felt because Hany Mukhtar balled out. We destroyed Austin, and that Hany ends up winning the MVP, right? We come back after this World Cup break, Leagues Cup, a little nervous about what's happening with this team at the current moment. But we have this match circled. It's Messi back. It's everybody talking about how Miami's still feeling all of that pain from the Champions Cup, right? They're going to come back with a vengeance, right? They're absolutely going to come in and smack Nashville. Haven't lost in 7 matches. They're so good. There's no way that this is going to happen. Nashville solidifies who they are as a team during this pivotal moment in time. And I think that is what is so extremely just great about what this Nashville team is, what it does, the preparation for these moments that BJ puts his team through. Like it is just so, it is different because it is Miami, and it is extremely pivotal because it is Miami. It's a team that everybody was talking about as the number one in power rankings, even though Nashville had a higher point total. Like it's always going to be in conversation. Messi's always going to be in conversation. But the fact that Nashville was kind of They were able to change that narrative literally overnight.
Yeah.
And I think that's so cool to be a part of, just from a fan perspective and a team perspective. And I don't know. I'm just happy. I'm happy.
Before we go into the next thing, from that Austin team, the starting lineup in 2022, that's what I was looking at just a second ago.
Jesus.
I do like the parallels you've drawn with that, because I think that was also an anticipated game, kind of like you were saying. Only 3 players from the starting lineup remain with the team today, and only one of those started both games. And obviously it's Hany Mukhtar, as we mentioned, which is, I think, a testament to his quality. But Dan Lovitz and Joe Willis started that game as well. Dan Lovitz
and he scored 2 goals in both games.
I thought you were going to give us a test. You just wanted to.
I can. There was one player who subbed in that game. Oh, Alex Muriel was also with that squad. Sorry, but he didn't start. But 4 players in total subbed in from that game. Annabelle Godoy, Luke Hawkinson, and Till Bunbury. But there's one player who subbed in who's still with the team currently. Do you know who it is?
Bauer.
No.
Oh, that's a good guess, though.
Bauer was not even on the bench. I don't think he was signed by them.
I have no idea.
The rest of the bench doesn't have any. There was only one player on the bench who is still with Nashville, and he got subbed in. The other bench players were Anunga, Panico, Zubac, Taylor Washington, and Eric Miller. And this one player.
Just tell us, because this isn't.
Just tell us. Yeah, this is becoming bad radio.
You guys are you're gonna feel bad. It's Jack Mayer.
Oh, we're idiots.
Yeah, exactly. You thought he started, but Rami Zimmerman started that game. So
we're idiots.
So, I mean, from there we'll just kind of talk about, like, one of the things that I find most interesting about this Miami match, and it's sort of interesting, like, in that it was forced, and then it was stupid when it was forced, and then it kind of happened organically, is the idea of Miami as a rival. So, like, when Nashville first entered the league, I think all 3 of us would have said, "Oh, we all hate Cincy. Like, Cincy is the rival, like, because of leftover USL stuff, you know." And then Nashville just didn't play Cincy very much over the first 3 years. And so and Cincy was really bad. That was also part of it. And MLS seemed to really force the Atlanta thing, and then Atlanta got really bad. And MLS at first kind of forced the Miami thing, because both teams came in at the same time, and then Nashville played Miami in the playoffs the first year. And Miami fans really don't like to talk about that game, by the way. They don't bring it up when they had 6 DPs and lost 3-0 in Nashville. Don't bring that one up to them, because most of them weren't fans then. But I really love how much animosity has been generated, because you can really start to feel it from the Miami side now, because there's the whole "you're not a rival, we don't think about you," as we fill up all of the comments on any Nashville post about Miami.
I think it's so funny. Just like last year, it was just like, "Oh God, we have to play Miami again. Can we just please beat Miami? Can we please just beat Miami?" And now this year, it's turned to, "Can we play Miami every week?" Like, I love how this has turned.
It's happened just because the teams have played each other so much, but it's because most of the games have been pretty good. Like, generally, I mean, obviously there was some stuff at the end of last year, but like most of the games have been genuinely pretty all right. Like, and going back to the League's Cup, obviously, I mean, that was a crazy, crazy final. And basically from there, like, Nashville's been an okay foil that wasn't really winning, but they've been good matches. And now that Nashville's starting to win a little bit, but I saw somebody who's like otherwise very uninvolved, like a Western Conference MLS fan on Twitter. He's like, so he said basically that, so MLS is just going to make Nashville, Inter Miami, Celtic, Rangers by making them play 1,000 times every year.
the other thing I'll say about them playing so many times together is also showcases just maybe a little bit of coaching prowess from BJ Callaghan, because I think he recognized what was the issues with it. And look, some of that is player signings and getting the right players in, but I think he made a game plan where he's played Miami 3 times now this season and hasn't lost a single time. 2 draws and a
They've had
win.
3 different coaches for those?
And that's the next point I was going to say, to where you look on the other side and it's a lot of changes, there's a lot of uncertainties, a lot of different styles. So it's a testament, I think, to BJ Callaghan as well, just being able to find a plan to, I wouldn't say maintain Messi, because I don't think you can really do that, but to limit, I guess, as much as possible. And he himself, Callahan, said after the game, like, we got lucky with some of the Messi stuff, and Messi hit the post twice and all that, but we'll get into that in a second. But and the other thing I was going to mention as well in terms of the rivalry thing, I've said this before, but what makes a rivalry is not only just playing that team so many times, it's playing them in a game of consequence. And Nashville SC, by the time the playoffs rolled over last season, they had played Miami in the U.S. Open Cup, in Leagues Cup, in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, and in MLS regular play, and in the MLS playoff. So it was like, and that playoff series last year was the second playoff series. So when you have that many games of consequence, you are going to build animosity between the two teams. And that's why a lot of Nashville fans will tell you they hate Orlando more than they hate Atlanta, even though Atlanta's supposedly the rival to Nashville. Because Atlanta has been pretty bad since Nashville joined the league, and there hasn't been that many game of consequence, if at all, against Atlanta. There was like 1 Open Cup game, I believe. That's it. So when you look at Orlando and the sort of some of the back and forth Nashville has had with Orlando, or even NYCFC to an extent, maybe that's kind of fading away now. Those probably will live up more than Atlanta. And then there's the Cincinnati, which is kind of in a weird spot where it's left over, I guess, from the USL
hipster
years.
rival.
What's that?
It's the hipster rival.
Is the hipster rival, yeah. But I mean, if you ask me right now, who would Nashville consider their main rivals, I would say Miami, just simply because they've played each other more than any other team.
And the players feel it too.
Oh, absolutely.
And like, you can tell on the pitch. And look, I mean, this is a good place to move on. Nashville SC puts out the social media video, and what's it end on? It ends on Dan Lovitz saying, "Good guys won." Like, that doesn't tell you how the players feel about it. I don't know what does.
So if you were wearing a pink shirt and continue to wear that, just stop listening to the show at the current moment. But if you want to hear more about Nashville and their dominant performance, and you want to join on this train, we're going to talk about that performance next, right here on Pharmaceutical Soccer. And we are back right here, Pharmaceutical Soccer at Pharma Soccer on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, please make sure you do check out 615soccer.com. Type it out in the browser. Be a part of the conversations and what we have going on there. Even if you wore pink on Saturday, I don't care. You should subscribe to 615soccer.com. Be a part of what we have going on there. Who knows? Maybe you will see the light. You will see the gold and want to be a part of the conversations and everything we have going on there. So please, 615soccer.com. It's great discourse. It's a really good community as well. I think it's even fun that we don't even necessarily have any like official ticket sharing, platform or anything, but just the community is working together to make sure like those tickets are being shared at like prices, non-price gouging prices for people, especially against Miami, where that'll happen. So thank you so much to this community, what we have going on, 615soccer.com. Super cool, super great. We're doing cool things over there.
Also, check out pharmasoccer.com. Get yourself a Pharma Soccer t-shirt. And vote for the best of Nashville and the Nashville scene. Maybe get Pharma Soccer as the best sports podcast. We've been in the running. Maybe vote for Valair for best sports journalist. That's the right move. And only vote for Valair. Nobody else.
You can't only vote for me. You have to have 20 votes for your vote to count. So there's plenty of great local places, food places, photographers. speaking of photographers, go to 615soccer.com. You'll find exactly who to vote for in terms of photography. Christina Moore and Mike Meredith, both 615 Soccer. But yeah, make sure you have 20 votes. Make sure you're voting Pharma Soccer for your show, your sports podcast. If you would like to vote for me, go for it. Ben Wright is also there.
No, don't vote for Ben. He's got his own show. Vote for Valair. This is Pharma Soccer. You vote for Valair if you're listening to Pharma Soccer. That's the way it works.
I was tied for third last year, and I'm going to make a plaque of that regardless of where I finish this year. Like, I could, even if they're like, actually, you won it by like insane vote, like you had 12,000 people vote for you, I'll say yes, but can I get a plaque of tied for third in 2025? Because that's a better story in my book. But appreciate everybody who voted already. Yeah, just remember to do that. Deadline's coming up here in a little bit, but and share our show, give us 5 stars, all that stuff. We appreciate all the support we've gotten so far in the past 7 years, believe it or not, of doing this show, and we would love to keep doing it.
Yeah, I would love to be on the ballot, because not only do I want Clay and Valair to be proud of me and the work that we've all done together, I want my parents to be proud of me. And they will only be proud of me if I am tied for second or third in Best of Nashville on their on the podcast sports platform. So, yes, Clay?
Did you guys get the 5-star review from last week?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we did.
I was just making sure. Sometimes
someone doesn't freaking listen to this show.
I listened to the first.
I know.
I listened to the first 20 minutes. I was making sure. I was sick. All right, give me a break.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, your ears were fine though, as we've established in the first segment.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just making sure, because sometimes these fall through the cracks. But anyway, I want to make sure that a lot of people walk up and say hi at these games, and we all appreciate it very much. They don't walk up and say hi to Steven because he's in DC, but they do walk up and say hi to Valair and I cannot tell you how many people came up after the game and said they cannot wait to listen this week. So here we go. Let's talk about the game.
Let's talk about the match. Of course, Nashville winning 4-1 against Miami. Goal from Sam, 2 goals from Hany, goal from Hany Mukhtar. I don't whatever that dude's name, since whatever, I don't care. Scored for Miami. Whatever.
Segovia sounds so much like the place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe where
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Wanda's from, and R.I.P. Silver Surfer. Is that the right? Yeah, he died for our sins or whatever. Sorry.
Quicksilver. Silver Surfer's the other one.
That's the other one. Thank you. I was like, I think I'm saying the wrong thing here.
Awesome,
but yeah, Segovia, man. The Segovia Accord. I know that's not what it's called, but that's all I could think about. Anyway, good player, though.
Awesome. Fantastic. Look, when we started, at least when I saw the lineup, I was ecstatic. Espinosa's finally back in the starting lineup. This looks like finally a non-injured Nashville besides Patrick Yazbek. And we've seen flashes from Saad, obviously, coming into it. We didn't necessarily know where Saad was going to fully fit into the depth chart of this team kind of coming in. During the match kind of changed the story. But, man, you looked at that starting lineup. Whew, I was way more excited for the match when I saw that starting lineup.
I will get to the starting lineup. And so Segovia is a soccer player. Segovia is the country. Genovia is the Princess Diaries, starring noted Arsenal fan Anne Hathaway.
Right.
That was just for you, Valair.
Thank you very much. I will say on the starting lineup now. By the way, where did all the Nashville, like Walker Zimmerman left, and then there's like no connection to like MCU stuff for Nashville anymore? Like he was Thor, and that was the whole thing. Like, can they come up with some new stuff? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of creative people work for that club. They can just Schwake can be.
I mean, it's not Marvel related, but it got brought up on the broadcast of the Bleach Boys, and I'm kind of here for that, though.
Oh, that's good.
Kind of really good.
Yeah, it's like spreading throughout the squad. Like it's like more people are doing it. The more you think about it. Okay, Should we talk some soccer? I'll talk some soccer.
We probably should talk some soccer. I've been waiting for it for the past.
I'll talk some soccer. Okay. So on the lineup, I think for Saad to start is a good statement, I think, for what the work he's put in, because he's been with the team less than a month, I'm pretty sure. And he's been kind of a revelation in terms of that left side, because I think when you look at Muyal, Qasim, and Madrigal, they all play that left position a little bit differently than him. He's like an Espinoza, but on the left pretty much, but he does drift into the middle more than Espinoza, I will say. Plays really well with Hany Mukhtar, and we knew all that going into it. But I want to go back to last week's episode, because Steven, Ben Wright, and myself were here, and I set the goal contributions for Saad from now to the end of the season at 6.5.
You're an idiot.
Exactly. And he already had 4, I'm pretty sure. So if you count Leagues Cup, so he is way more than 50% in. And it seems like I don't know what I'm talking about. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm just man enough to show up, and
I do love the self-realization. I do love the self-realization. But I think it's interesting, especially from a Saad perspective, and I think we're just going to start there, just because I think the conversation kind of surrounds Saad, even from the starting lineup perspective. From the beginning of this season, we've talked about how impactful Espinoza and Hany Mukhtar are on that right side. But what that does is that completely opens up all these opportunities on the left side of the pitch, right? So all Qasim, all Muyal, all Madrigal have to do is take advantage of those opportunities. That's all they have to do, is take advantage of those coming through. We've seen it in waves. We've seen it kind of cycled through. We hadn't seen it consistently until these past 2 or 3 matches, because even during the Leagues Cup, he was still kind of taking control of a lot of those positions. And also having Reed Baker Whiting there, I also think adds a lot more attacking prowess to this left side. So I think it's going to be something that, I don't know, it just fits. You know what I mean? Like, I just think this is the position and this is the player that fits in this lineup.
That's the big thing. It's not just Saad. It's Reed Baker Whiting was absolutely eating them alive on that left side, and that opened up so much for Saad. And that first 25 minutes was, I mean, they made a sub in the first half. I mean, like,
right?
It honestly, Nashville was incredibly unlucky to only get out of the first half with a goal, because it was incredibly one-sided, specifically on that side of the field. And I mean, I can't say enough for how impressed I've been with Baker Whiting in the last week and a half.
Yeah,
honestly, and I don't even think that, I think that Dan Lovitz has been a pretty good player. Honestly, the last year and a half, I think he's been pretty good. I think that playing for BJ has unlocked a few things with Dan Lovitz, especially in the first half of last year. But it's been incredible to see Reed Baker Whiting. I think part of that is brought on by Yazbek's absence, weirdly enough. I think Yazbek's absence has kind of added to maybe the need for more offensive production and more sort of attacking on that from that role than you would necessarily need to have it with Corcoran and Tagseth kind of in the middle. But
right,
that's a conversation for a different day. No. But I just think Eli Saad and Reed Baker White, I mean, that's the story for me out of that Miami game is those two players and how they played in that game. That's the big story for me, other than the obvious stuff.
Yeah, and it was fun to so I was reading Matthew Doyle's column, and he brought up a good point about, I mean, there was times that Reed Baker Whiting was almost playing as a 10, coming up and attacking. But what that did, it wasn't necessarily his positioning. It's the disruption that him being in that field causes for everybody else. Because then what do? Then you have Saad, Mukhtar, which one do you cover? Because you can't cover everybody. And then you also have Espinoza on the right-hand side. Honestly, it is tactically masterful to watch that first 45.
It's very overwhelming, and that's exactly what they're trying to do, is to overwhelm the box. And let's not forget, Reed Baker Whiting is coming out of 2 games where he scored. Now, one of them didn't count because it hit his hand, but he scored in both of his last 2 games in the League's Cup. He's been bombing into that box more often than not. And
yeah, and the disallowed goal counts in about half the games that it was disallowed.
Yeah, in one of the League's Cup matches, he got subbed on as a winger. Like,
exactly. So I don't like. I think that helps too in terms of building his confidence and his momentum. But it's interesting that Clay made that point about the midfield, because I think we can go through every single player on that field and give them props. And
absolutely,
it's weird because the game ended and 8 out of 11 players had a goal contribution for Nashville SC. 8 out of the 11 starters. That's insane. That's just doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. And I think the Nashville fans know that, because Nashville fans have lived through situations where even when Nashville was good, they weren't that good. They were never that good. This is the best Nashville has ever been. And to be fair, it's not a very long history, but it's still, for people who've been around, this is not the norm. They know this is not the norm. And I think that appreciation is really showing, whether it's online or obviously at Geodis Park.
Okay, I know that I put this lower down in the rundown, but I do want to talk about it. All right, the Schwake assist, right? I cannot tell you, I was so happy. I was so happy about it. And the reason why is because I have been on this show since March saying that outlet is there.
Right.
To go over the top with the ball. I've been like screaming because they've really only tried it twice. Like, genuinely tried it. I mean, he's gone deep, but like genuinely tried to hit a counter over the top. They tried it with Sam Surridge once. It almost came off. And then I think there was one more. And the second I saw him gather the ball, I saw Hany, and I was like, here it comes. Here it comes. He's going for it. And it just worked out exactly perfectly. And I cannot tell you, we've done this show for 9 years. And I tell everyone watching MLS, watching USL, that all goalkeepers in these leagues aren't very good for the most part. And that if you make goalkeepers make plays, they will give up goals.
Man.
And if you make a goalkeeper make a play, there are goals there. And that, like, you have to gamble. It's gambling. It's not going to always work out. But there will always be goals. If you take a few gambles a year, there will always be a few goals there for you. And this guy, Novo, has had a rough month in regards to that.
Well, you have to feel for Miami, right? Because, like,
no, you don't. You absolutely do not have to feel for Miami.
Can you let me finish the damn joke?
No.
You have to feel for Miami, because imagine if they had like a goalie of the season caliber, player there. Because then, their problems would go away. Imagine if they had a goalkeeper who won MLS Goalkeeper of the Year, say in 2025. That would take care of a lot of these issues. But they don't have that. Wait, they do have that player. So yeah, there's that.
No, I think, like, especially like the first 45, I think BJ Callaghan talked a little bit about the luck about, Miami hitting the post twice, Messi hitting the post twice, some of that. I think Nashville probably had more opportunities in the first that they probably should have buried for even a couple more goals in the first half. I think from the eye test, for even a normal, just a fan that doesn't follow the statistics, doesn't follow necessarily the intricacies of the game, Nashville looked like the better team the entire match. They just did. They were in control. They had the game plan. They had the goalkeeping. They had the swagger. I mean, Sam Surridge, the ability to pull that back heel off after not necessarily the most consistent, timing that he's had, or just consistency that he's had over the past few weeks. I don't know. And then we got Hany Mukhtar. Oh, by the way, who just scores 2 goals out of nowhere.
The Surge backheel one is funny because, like, I think there is a Miami argument. The whole thing starts with a foul that should have been called, but Miami does get their foot on it twice in between the goal being scored and the supposed foul. And then I was just like, well, I think you should count the whole phase of play, but I also think you should count sick back heels. So I was like, pretty fine with that.
Yeah.
I thought
Messi,
none of those were fouls. I thought none of them were.
I saw a tweet that says Messi's still thinking he's playing against Argentina. Against Egypt. And I was like, yeah, that's fair enough.
Can you imagine? So the fourth goal goes in, and then Miami immediately turns it over. Like 30 seconds later, in the attacking, and Nashville's immediately in attacking phase. I cannot imagine what would have happened if the fifth would have been scored like that. Like that, it would have been unbelievable. But I will say this: what is interesting to me is I think that the first half, for the most part, was all Nashville. I think Nashville was all over him for most of the first half, save for maybe like 5-10 minutes. The second half actually felt like a little bit more even, generally speaking. But then that's the sport. The half that felt more even was the half that Nashville outscored them 3-0.
Well, a lot of it was also game state, though.
Of course.
Nashville conceded a lot more possession just because they didn't need to have the ball.
But the dragging your feet, waiting 5 minutes to come out of the locker room, and then conceding in the first 5 minutes of the second half is just like the perfect.
And if I can just switch gears real quick, if you are listening to this and maybe you're like a newer listener, and you're like, well, why aren't they talking about Espinoza and Suraj and Mukhtar more, and Nahar? It's because we've spent full episodes talking about how great those players are. And it kind of get repetitive for us and for our listeners to just keep saying, well, there goes Hany Mukhtar doing MVP things again and talk about his strengths. And that's why we're trying to highlight other areas, because I truly believe you can highlight every single area. And I do want to say that Matt Corcoran and Edvard Tagseth both had a really strong game, but I want to specifically talk about Corcoran, who I think is coming to his own in terms of the defensive part of the game, which is something that he's tremendously improved on this year. I don't think he's near Tagseth levels in terms of his positioning, not yet at least. But let's not forget how young he is. I think he's 20, 21 years old. This is a young guy in a very, very vital position. You don't see many number sixes, defensive midfielders who are that young. So it's a very tough position to play. He has to balance the attack and the defense, obviously, but I thought he took really major steps. He had one really good interception. He had multiple interceptions. He had the second most defensive contributions of any Nashville player in the game. And I wrote about that in my ratings article as well. So if you want to learn a little bit more about each player, go there, 615soccer.com. But yeah, I thought he had a really impressive game.
When I thought this was one of Tagseth's better games playing out without Yazbek. I think we talked a lot about Tagseth looks really good next to Yazbek, but some of the shine comes off in the games where he hasn't played next to Yazbek. And I think that we've seen that at times since the World Cup break. And I think that this was one of his better performances. I think he looked really good. I mean, again, as we've said over and over, like genuinely everyone played really well. It is worth noting, like another day, this game finishes like 4-3. Like there were plenty of opportunities there for Miami, but there'll always be opportunities for a team like Miami. They are still really good.
Right.
Like they are the second best team in the league. They're still really good. But it was just such a great performance. But like for me, I mean, Schwake is outside of the obvious stuff. Schwake, 2 huge saves, arguably his best save, which we've come on here after a week and said that might have been Schwake's save of the season 3-4 times, already this season. But that save near the end of the game where he saves with his thigh might be the best I've seen from him this year. Obviously saves a penalty. We've seen that. Messi's missing penalties anyway. But the save at the end of the game, I was so impressed with. And the assist as well. I mean, he's really, like, not only putting his name there for U.S. national team call-up, he's putting his name there for goalkeeper of the year stuff as well. And defensively, I mean, I think Wilegi's putting his name there for defender of the year stuff as well. I mean, Wilegi's now, that's 2 different times this year that Wilegi's been up against Messi and has more than held his own. And so really, really impressive stuff.
I think for me, and I kind of alluded to what I was talking about, and Valair's right. Like we've talked ad nauseum about these designated players, and who they are and what type of players they are. But for me, I just want to highlight Hany just for a second, because I think we've talked a little bit about the different player Hany has become with more pieces, right? Like that he has become a lot more of a distributor, a lot more of that. I mean, he gives up the penalties to Saint, like a little bit more of the distribution aspects of it. I think he showed again against Miami that this is still his team. And he still can be counted on in a lot of those instances. I mean, most of those plays into the attacking half started through Hany and then finished with Hany. And his shot placement was absolutely terrific. Like, I thought he did a really good job when he needed to pass the ball, like, and to put it where he needed to be. Like, I think it has shown that Hany can still be a major a goal contributor in a lot of aspects of this team. And I really did appreciate that to see, especially against Miami.
And he's also taken a step off the pitch. I think it's important to note, like, he's become the leader, the captain. He's the captain of the club. And I don't think he took that responsibility lightly. Like, he is the one, he's been not just vocal in terms of talking, but, not just setting an example in terms of being vocal, which he is, but also setting an example in terms of being on the pitch and the work he puts off the ball. And BJ Callaghan talked about that. Hany himself talked about how much he cares about this team and what he's proud of the players, because he feels a sense of responsibility that this is his team. And more than anyone else, this is Hany's team. I mean, this is Hany's team, and there's no two ways about it. And the way he motivates his teammates, whether it's simply by just doing his job really well, or by actually, talking to them, I think it's really, really a positive sign.
Are you guys ready for the most shocking Hany stat of the season?
Sure.
From this game. 2 goals, 0 salutes.
I did see that. I was very, I saluted in the bar, actually, and I was also upset by that there was no salutes.
Whoa, I didn't think about that. Is it gone?
I don't know. He just had a kid, so who knows?
Lots
of hand hearts. Lots of deli.
There was a lot. Actually, and also Sam Sturge also did a hand heart. Is that just a new celebration now?
Well, he has a baby too, so maybe it's about babies. Who knows? None of us have kids, so.
Hany, bring back the salute. Okay, I feel like that we've talked about the game in nauseum. Now can we talk about the other stuff? I want to talk about Waleji doing step overs in the 97th minute, because that was prime amazing part of them. Like, it's so good. Like, can we talk about how amazing that was?
No, the best moment is Dan Lovitz. I knew the reason Dan Lovitz was being subbed on, and I love this new role for Dan Lovitz. This new role for Dan Lovitz in these games is to come on and be, well, I don't want to get the E put on this podcast, to be a pain. So, is to just be a guy from the East Coast to these teams and to just be a little bit ornery, and that moment at the end of the game with Luis Suárez, where Suárez is grabbing his head and Lovitz is just looking down at him and saying something to him, and then the ref comes over, and then the ref looks at him, and Lovitz just shrugs his head and just goes, I don't know. It was perfect. It was just a perfect way.
I want to say something. I have some insider info that apparently Miami and the other so Miami in MLS and all the Leagues Cup games, so all the Mexican sides have the best smelling benches. So this is coming from Christina Moore, our photographer. She said I can quote her on this. We were talking for a minute, and she was like, "Oh, I really don't like them. The best smelling bench, though." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She was like, "No, they smell really good." And I was like, "Oh, okay, good to know." So there you go. There's your insider info and that's why they pay me the somewhat minimal bucks.
I thought you were saying something of like what was said to Luis Suárez after that. Like, that was so directly.
He was
right
probably saying,
that.
"Where do you get this cologne from?" because I want to impress Christina. That's.
Uh,
I mean, if I had to guess,
the another great thing is Rodrigo de Paul yelling at the ref and then pointing to the star on his jersey.
yeah, what was that about? I thought that was a joke. Like I thought somebody told me about that, and I was like, that maybe is a misunderstanding. But what?
There were
By
so
the
many
way-
weird Miami things that have happened like this match.
I've got a weird take about stars on jerseys. I think stars should be for continental trophies, not for league trophies. Anyway, that's my weird take on stars on jerseys, and I will leave it at that.
Also,
That's how it
Miami
is
being
in
5 minutes
North
late, like 5 minutes late to come out to the half. Like they should have to start at a specific time and we get a free goal. Like I feel like that should be the rule. If you're not like you have to start on time, and if you're not there, like that's
I love
that's
the
Well, you know what they do in
concept of,
basketball. In basketball, if you don't get to if you're taking the ball out of bounds, the ref will put it down and count to 5, and then if you're not there, it's a turnover. And so, the ref should put it down, counted to 5, it's a turnover. Then Nashville just gets the ball and can just go.
Yeah, the schoolyard concept of if you don't show up, we got a free goal is something that I would subscribe to. But also, like,
I think Miami was just
imagine they have a time situation, like I don't know, like the clock is wrong or something. And you come out like 20 seconds late, and you're down 1-0. Like, well,
Here's the thing. So I used to joke that obviously, they get all these South American stars, and you think, oh, it's Miami catering to Miami being the quote unquote like capital of Latin America, capital of South America, and that's one concept. But the other idea of it is like Miami's also the capital of old people, and so they get all these like aging stars because that's where you go. But then that doesn't really work if they show up late to things, because old people are notoriously early. They should be out there 10 minutes before kickoff, not 5 minutes late to kickoff.
They were probably making notes about how much better the Geodis locker room was in comparison to their new stadium and being like, oh, we should switch this in the new locker room. So,
maybe they were putting cologne on.
it
That's
could
why
be
they
the
smell so
cologne.
good. Yeah.
It could be the cologne.
Yeah.
Nashville played awesome. Miami sucks. I'm happy about this. And
I will say there's like real breakdown stuff as well on the written side of things. So if you're maybe wanting to go into a more depth analysis, this is a show where we have barely an hour each week. So we're not going to go into everything. So go to 615
tactics earlier.
We did
talked about tactics earlier.
No, I know. I'm just saying there's if you prefer reading stuff and going into more depth, we only have an hour here, and we're already at that hour, so we have one more segment. So there are more things you can get involved in. Also, Club and Country is our other show here on the 440 Network /615 Soccer. So check us out there.
Oh, it was a great night, I think, for Nashville players. I think for Nashville fans. Also, shout out to the Nashville fans for truly showing up for that match, and not just like showing up in loudness, but also malarkey. I think malarkey is also very good against the Miami team. So thank you for just continuing to be the awesome people that you are and rooting for this team. We have a lot more to talk about, though. We have some more MLS news, and also Nashville sold a player. Interesting. We need to talk about that. We're going to do that next, right here on Pharmaceutical Soccer. And we are back here, Pharmaceutical Soccer, last segment of the show, at PharmaSoccer on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Again, 615soccer.com. Spell it out. Type it out, become a part of what we got going on there. Also, pharmasoccer.com for all of your merchandise needs. Literally all of them. Every merchandise need that you do have, go to pharmasoccer.com. You can probably find it. Hopefully find it. And then Best of Nashville, as we talked about it. Vote for PharmaSoccer. Nominate PharmaSoccer. And Ben Wright and Valair Shabilla.
Not Ben Wright. He's got his own show. Just Valair Shabilla.
Yeah.
Vote Ben wrong on Best of Nashville and see what happens.
While we're on the topic of kind of talking about our everything else and plugging these things, we did announce a pretty big partnership with SoccerWise, which is the premier MLS show, NWSL show, U.S. national team show. We had David Goss on a couple of weeks ago, who I'm sure everybody enjoyed that episode. We've had him on before. Tom Bogert is on there. Matt Doyle. These are all names who cover the league better than
Walker
anyone else.
Zimmerman.
Walker Zimmerman is part of it as well. Yes. So there's a lot of names out there. Susanna Fuller as well, who's been on this show. So again, these are the best people out there covering these leagues, whether it's NWSL or MLS. So make sure you're checking out SoccerWise as we are getting into talking about MLS weekend and what we saw from that. I just thought it would be good to send people that way for an actual MLS breakdown. But we're going to talk about our favorite things that we saw, maybe, or just a couple things that we noticed. Like, guess who's back into the league and is playing Nashville next week? Joseph Martinez, baby. And as one David Goss said, hide your chicken and hide your rice, because it's a joke for those of us who have been involved in this league for a minute. But yeah, Joseph Martinez is back. He's with the Columbus Crew. He's really going the Kai Kamara route.
Really?
Wait, did you think I was making this up? Like, what?
I had no idea that it was.
Joseph Martinez came in against Charlotte in the 70th minute for the Columbus Crew, and he will be playing against Nashville SC. Sorry, 77th minute. No, 71st minute. There you go. He is number 77, though. So there's that, too. And he'll be playing against Nashville the weekend. But before that, obviously, Nashville has a Red Bulls game. But there are way more better headlines. But I'm just excited that Joseph Martinez is back and is playing Nashville because it's all fun.
I will say the main headline is Nashville, Miami. Like, obviously, that was the main headline of the weekend. I don't know if there is a more entertaining match or thing that happened. Hey, Atlanta won. Tata Martino stayed is alive another day. Congratulations.
Fafa Pico with a winner there, too. A Nashville connection.
All right, Steven. Just out of curiosity, do you know, so Vancouver is leading in the West. Do you know who's in second?
In the West?
Yeah.
Is it LAFC?
No.
Well, it's not San Jose, that's for sure.
No.
Are you sure about that?
It's not San Jose.
No, it's not.
Man, I don't know. Who is it?
Houston Dynamo. Ben Olsen's Houston Dynamo are second place in the Western Conference. That seems like a pretty big story. So they've been winning games left and right. So shout out to Houston Dynamo.
Oh my gosh, and they have a game in hand up against LAFC. Wow.
So I think that's a pretty fun one. Obviously, I used to be a season ticket holder for the Dynamo. Never really been a fan, but they were the local team, so I went to support them when I lived down there.
And if you want any anticipation, they're playing Vancouver on Wednesday.
Exactly.
So one versus two.
So yeah. So you get another 1 versus 2 this week. Another interesting, although much less fun. All right, Valair, do we think Brian Schmetzer makes it to the end of the year?
Oh my God, I fear for him. I think based on what he's done for Seattle, he should be granted the rest of the season, no matter what happens. Do Seattle fans agree with me? I don't know. Something tells me probably not. I just think he's done so much for that city and for that team that you kind of have to give him the rest of the season.
I think you have to give him the rest. I mean, they're still 3 points away from being in seventh or eighth place. Like, they're not far off, but man, it has not been good at all for them right now.
Here's the crazy thing about Seattle, though. If they make it as like the 7th seed, can anybody really convince me that they won't win MLS Cup? No.
That's the thing. That's the thing with Seattle. Like, that's the unfortunate thing with Seattle, is that all the time they will be in that race, in that cause. So, also, Philadelphia might actually be good. Who knew?
Looks like Bradley Carnell was not the right manager. Also, Kevin Sullivan with 2 assists at 16 years old to lead his team against NYCFC away from home. Anyway, there's a lot more. Go to SoccerWise. Let's move on.
Yeah.
We do need to just do a quick mentioning of Nashville selling a very important player in piece to a team in France. Wubens Pacius is no longer on the team. I know it's a third.
Learned to say his name right in 2 years that he's been here.
And third division team in France, right, Valair?
Yep. Based on, if I'm reading the press release correctly, there isn't a transfer fee associated with it, but Nashville does have a sell-on clause associated with it. So if there was another sale, then Nashville would get a percentage of that. If I'm reading the press release correctly, that's what I gathered. Either way, this is a good move for Pacius, for Nashville as well. I don't think it was working out. It was very clear it wasn't working out. He's too good to be at Huntsville, and Nashville doesn't really need him at Huntsville. They thought he can take the step up this season. I think it might be harsh of me to say, but I think it was very clear that he couldn't take the step up to MLS. Can he take the step up to third division in France? Well, we'll have to wait and see. It also means that, Nashville doesn't have to worry about his contract, and not that he was getting paid anything crazy, but that I think Nashville wanted to do right by the player as well, and I think that's important. And if he's not getting minutes in Huntsville or Nashville, it's probably best that he kind of sees his future somewhere else. So it's the best scenario for everybody involved. And I think I think he found his level at USL Championship, and he was really effective there when he went on loan. We saw him score against Atletico Ottawa in the Champions Cup, which is CPL, where he was also very effective. But every time he played in MLS or Leagues Cup, he seemed to me like he wasn't up to that level. That doesn't mean he won't get there, but he's just not right now, and I think Nashville would rather give those minutes to somebody else.
Yeah. I think it's a good call. Yep. Nashville has a 2-match week. Busy week for Nashville SC, coming off that Miami match. So there might be some different kind of lineups happening, especially with the 2-match week being played, and one of those matches being away in New Jersey. Sorry, not New York, but in New Jersey. But it's a time where you want Nashville to kind of continue that form. They've shown who they are against Miami. Let's continue to show and gain more traction, in that Supporters Shield standing, especially since we're not in the Leagues Cup anymore. So what are we expecting this week against New York and Joseph Martinez's Columbus?
Well, I mean, the Red Bulls, these are two games that on paper Nashville should win. I mean,
which ultimately means we're going to lose both of them.
Yeah. But it is worth noting, I knew going to New Jersey has been a bear on Nashville in years past. That they've gotten over the hump against the Red Bulls, but it's hard not to think about those. But that being said, it is a midweek match after a cathartic win over the second best team in the league. So you have to be a little bit worried about a let-off, especially considering the last 2 weeks that Nashville has played prior to that. But then again, this is a New York team that's lost 3 of its last 4 games. The one win is weirdly enough, over an Orlando team that's been okay since the World Cup break, weirdly enough. But yeah, so I mean, it's easy to sit here and say, be worried about New York, but it's also easy to say New York just lost to Atlanta. There's nothing to be worried about. So I feel pretty confident that this is going to be a 6-point week for Nashville, honestly.
Wow. Putting it out there.
I will say
honest. For Nashville, they finally got their first ever win over the Red Bulls. And that was in May of last year, at home, at Geodis Park. I think they got the best they've done at Red Bull Arena was a 0-0 draw. Yeah, they've had a couple 0-0 draws at Red Bull Arena, whatever it's called now, not Red Bull Arena.
Sports Illustrated Arena.
Thank you. So still don't have a win there. This is probably their best chance to do that. While Michael Bradley has led the Red Bull, to really solid start considering who they have. I was listening to, again, Soccer Wise the other day, and they were talking about how they don't have a single adult center back. So it's, I think, Dylan Nealis, former Nashville SC great, if you would, currently starts for them as center back. So that's where Red Bulls are in terms of that. So when you look at an attack like Nashville's going against Red Bull, I think Clay's heart is in the right spot. And then Columbus at home. Columbus is a team with a new coach, have looked better since the new coach, but still they have a long road ahead. But Joseph Martinez might be a little motivated to play against Nashville, the team that started his downfall, some would say.
I mean, we've said that every time Joseph Martinez played against Nashville the last several years.
With all 17 of his teams, yeah. We don't.
Yeah.
The Red Bulls have let in 41 goals this year, and just to give you just hindsight of where that stacks up, Nashville has let in 15 goals this year. So their defense is not terrific, to say the least.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stick with my just mentality today. New Jersey sucks. Ohio sucks. We're going to absolutely cap off this week in a lovely, fantastic way. But let's do plugs, predictions, and all that jazz. So we'll start with me, actually, to start today. At PH Steven HD on all of my stuff and things. I'm doing things today. Let me be joyful and happy. Nashville wins 5-0 both matches. Hat trick from Saad in both of them. Brace from Sam Surridge in both of them.
6 goals from Saad this week.
6 goals from Saad, just to put Valair in the ground even further in his prediction of goal contribution.
Yeah, I would delete that clip from the archive. Never said anything. I don't know what you're talking about. For me, I think Nashville will. You know what? It's hard to not predict this team to win after what we saw against Miami. It's really hard. Like, I want to be a realist, but I don't think either of these teams will present enough of a challenge. So I'll say 1-0 in New Jersey with a goal from Christian Espinoza. And I'll say 3-1 at home with a couple goals from Surridge and a goal from Saad. I think it's a 6-point week. If it's not the end of the world, but it's just, again, hard to bet against this Nashville team, even if you're being a realist or objective or whatever it is.
Well, I guess I'll pick up from there. You can follow me at ClayLessHole on Twitter and Instagram. I'll actually do my plug. And then, like I said, 6-point week. I'm going to start with, let's go with 3-1 in New Jersey. And I think the Red Bulls score the first goal. And then Nashville responds in a big way after getting kind of woken up by that. And we'll see goals from Surridge. I think Saad gets his first. And Ahmed Qasim gets the third after not playing over the weekend, but scoring last week. And then on Saturday, in front of a raucous crowd, once again, Nashville keeps its supporters shield race going with just a solid 2-0 win. Hany Mukhtar and Surridge both score.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. We truly do appreciate it, as always. Hope you had as much fun listening to this episode as we did making it. I think we were all excited today to record and talk about this team for sure. Go check us out on all the things. Leave us a 5-star review. As we talked about, we'll read it on air. It's great. Thank you again so much for listening. We really appreciate it. 2-match week. We'll talk about both of those matches next week, right here on Pharmaceutical Soccer. Have a great day.